Boom, we're back with another episode of the Role Models Podcast. It's Prophet again with, a few guests here that are, going to give us a little bit of a female perspective. We brought a panel back based on popular demand. I'm going to start from my right. Introduce yourself.
Hi, I'm Aliyah.
What's your social media?
Aliyah Theo.
Aliyah Theo. And on my left, we have...
Kiana.
And your social media?
Puffymac.
Okay, and...
Julie, and I don't have social media.
Why?
I don't know.
You don't fuck with it like that?
I just go through phases where I deactivate.
Yeah, I currently don't even have Instagram either. So yeah, same.
Do you have your Instagram?
I do, yeah.
Okay. So I mean, to start, if I was to ask if you guys would deactivate your social media if you got in a relationship, I think for them it might not be a problem. What about you?
No, I wouldn't.
You wouldn't deactivate it?
No.
What if your man was like, yeah, you gotta deactivate your social media or it doesn't feel comfortable?
I think that's ridiculous.
How about you guys?
I wouldn't deactivate because a man told me to, but I would deactivate because I wanted to.
Okay.
Yeah, I agree. It wouldn't be because a man wants me to deactivate my social media, because what is your reasoning behind that? And also, I also use social media for monetization purposes, so that doesn't make any sense. But for my own reasons, for sure, I'll deactivate. But yeah.
Okay. I mean, it's a controversial topic on social media right now, where a lot of girls are like, no, I wouldn't, or some are like, yeah, I would. So it's interesting. You guys think that social media is more important than let's say marriage, because I don't want to use the narrative of a boyfriend. Let's say a marriage, in a marriage situation.
I think it has nothing to do with that, though. I don't think it has to do with you prioritizing social media over your marriage. I think it comes down to what your reasoning behind making somebody deactivate their social media. What are the circumstances behind that reasoning?
Okay, gotcha. All right. You guys you were born in Toronto?
No.
You were born in Canada?
Yeah.
How about you, Puffy?
Yeah, Canada.
How about you? Born in Toronto. Okay, so we got all Canadians. How do you guys feel about the progression of Canada, from maybe 5, 10 years ago versus its current state? I'm gonna start with Aliyah.
I think that the economy is awful. It's completely gone downhill because the cost of living continues to rise, but wages are not keeping up with it. So it's making it impossible to buy homes and to be able to, do the things that people were doing before.
Okay. How about you, Puffymac?
I definitely agree wholeheartedly. I think the economy has just, and everything is so expensive, but yet the cost of living and the wages do not match up whatsoever. Now to buy a home, it's almost impossible. I think you could be a homeowner. Our parents' generation, it was so much easier. The way it was set up is you get a 9-to-5, you can get property, you can afford to live. Now you need a 9-to-5, 4 of them. You need to walk dogs on your pastime. You need to do crypto. You need to sell whatever you own. You need to do Uber. It's not realistic. So yeah.
Yeah,
what would you say?
I agree. There's nothing else to say.
Yeah, no, it's crazy. The inflation. Y'all believe we're in a depression or a recession with the economy?
A recession, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'd say so.
What's your favorite part about Canada?
Well, I do enjoy living in Canada. I think we have a beautiful country in itself. Where we have don't we have the most fresh water in the world? I think that's something that a lot of places wish that they had. So I think, we're definitely blessed to have that.
I mean, yeah, we got first world problems. But yeah, we are blessed with a lot of resources, but okay. What about you?
I think, yeah, we're blessed with a lot of resources, but it's just my favorite thing I would say maybe is I understand that there's places that are in a much worse position, and like I have gratitude for that. Like we're not in war, we're not experiencing genocide. So of course, like I'm grateful for that. It could always be worse. I think it's even when there's like worse, it's still hard to kind of have gratitude when it's just we're failing in so many places. You know what I mean? In our government, in our economy. So yeah, but gratitude nonetheless for some things. Yeah.
Wow, counting our blessings. Okay.
I don't want to feel like I'm leeching off of everyone's answers, but what do you want me to say?
I mean, you can say the bad things too, right? Like,
Yeah.
Yeah, but like, I don't know.
so you like Canada?
Yeah, I enjoy Canada.
Okay.
You
Yeah.
like Canada?
I mean, like, I haven't really experienced much of the rest of the world. So
But would
Okay.
you ever like want to like live somewhere else?
I think so. But I feel like that's because I don't know
Mm-hmm.
much.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
What other countries have you traveled?
I've only been to Mexico. I went to Vietnam when I was little, but I don't remember.
Mhm.
And then where's Turks? I went to Turks.
Turks and Caicos. Okay.
That's it. Oh, and Curacao.
Oh, that's in the Caribbean. Okay.
Yeah.
Nice. So let's do backgrounds. So you're
I'm Vietnamese.
okay. Puffymac.
I'm Jamaican, and then my mom is half Bosnian, half Croatian.
Okay.
My mom is from Ghana and my dad's Canadian.
And as you all know, I'm Nigerian. And that is why I talk a lot of shit. So what do you guys think about BBLs? Let's go straight there. This time I want to start with you, Julie.
I don't mind them. Like I feel like I don't judge people for getting them. I wanted one at one point, but I'm literally skin and bones. So, but yeah, I don't know. I don't really have an opinion. Unless it's like botched,
Mhm.
then I'm like, okay, like you need that fixed. But yeah,
You
I
need
don't
a
really have an
surgery for the
opinion.
surgery.
Yeah.
Okay. Puffy.
My opinions on BBLs, I'm for it. I think that like if you want to do something to alter yourself that you think is gonna like help you feel better about yourself, I'm never against that. Just do it safely and do it for yourself. Don't do it for like the opinions of others or society or anything like that. Like if that's gonna help you, then I'm for that always.
Okay. Or validation, I
And
guess.
she's like,
Yeah, just like Professor TEDx.
wait, I regret this. I don't want to go after her. I mean,
How about you?
No, I think I definitely agree with both of their opinions. Like, one, as long as it's not botched, but also, like, I am all for doing whatever you got to do to make yourself feel good about yourself. But just don't get on the internet talking about follow my fitness plan and you're
Oh my
not
God,
saying that you have
yes.
a BBL. So,
Oh,
be
also-
truthful.
I don't mean to offend anyone when I say like botched. Like if it makes you happy, it makes you happy. Like, you wake up and you look at yourself, not anyone else.
Yeah, even if you look like Ant-Man or Ant-Woman, whatever makes you feel happy in the morning when you
But
look in the mirror.
I definitely agree with like that. Like that is so wrong. And I think that like if you get a BBL and like that's something you want, and like if I personally got a BBL, I would not be like, no, I never got like a BBL. You know what I mean? Like I would tell people
Own
that.
it.
And like if I'm gonna, I think you are supposed to work out too after you get a BBL to upkeep it. So
True,
go ahead
otherwise
and
it,
do
like,
that. But I think
turns to shit.
also just like advise people, I got a BBL. So I am now, working on my body with a BBL. Like don't just start a fitness plan and like, especially when you have like a following and like young women are looking up to you thinking that that is
Real.
obtainable and it's not because you got surgery. So
Yeah, don't set those unrealistic expectations for people. Like, especially if you have a platform, then like you have a responsibility there. So be truthful.
I agree.
Ladies and gentlemen, I am gonna let you guys sit on your answers. I'm not gonna speak on that because, anyways, BBL Drizzy is a thing on the internet right now. Shout out Drake. Do you guys think Drake got a BBL, or is that just a thing that people are just like making up?
I haven't even
No
heard of
comment.
that. Like I never heard of that in my
You've not
life.
heard of BBL Drizzy?
No.
I thought it was just like because he's fruity, not because like
Yeah, you got
he
a
got an
BBL.
actual BBL. Yeah, I don't know.
I
Oh,
thought it was just because he acts zesty or something.
Drake acts zesty.
Yeah.
What does zesty mean?
It's just like
sassy.
yeah, like sassy, like certain photos he's taken and stuff like that. Like, you know, but I
The
never
pout.
yeah, like
The
I never
pout.
knew he
Yeah.
got a
No clues.
BBL
The
though.
selfies, the mirror pictures.
Interesting. All right, we'll leave that to the audience to figure out if Drake got a BBL. Let us know in the comments if you think Drake got a BBL. Apparently, guys are doing BBLs these days, or they call them BBLs, but it's like just enhancements, like getting abs and stuff. Or
Yeah, I think they're
Like-
doing like lipo, then
Mhm.
ab etching, and like having fake abs and stuff for
Mhm.
sure.
there's a guy called Bandman Kevo, and there was this whole thing like on the internet where a lot of people were talking about he got a BBL, and there's like, oh, men are getting BBLs, but it was literally just that like liposuction, transferring fat from one part of you know.
It's kind of just all getting lumped in together, I think, at this point.
Mhm. Yeah. Okay. What is the craziest parties that you have been to in Toronto? Starting with you, Aliyah. Tea party.
I just go out here and there sometimes.
I think that is a very political answer. What is here and there sometimes? Where and where? Who? How? When?
You know, just sometimes my friends, you know, they want to go out, then, you know, I'll just tag along sometimes, but inside most of the time.
Good girl vibes, eh? What about you, Puffy? What's the craziest party?
I literally don't leave my house. Like anybody knows me. Anybody that knows me knows that I really don't leave my house. But like when I did leave my house, I guess like a decade ago,
A decade ago.
I feel like the craziest party I went to was probably like a party that like I threw. I would say like it was actually a pretty good party. Like for my birthday, like years ago, that was a pretty big party. So I would say that was, yeah, that was like a
You
good
got fucked
party.
up.
Yeah, I didn't actually because I was very responsible because it
You're
was
the host.
my B&B. So
Oh.
I had to like, you know, make sure nothing was wrong. So I didn't even get to
Need
get
that
drunk or
deposit back.
anything like that. Yeah, I didn't get the deposit back and I
No?
got banned from B&B. But it was
Till today?
Till today, yeah, I'm banned. Yeah.
What a party.
That was
You have
fun.
clips?
No,
You'll
not-
fuck it
I,
up,
I
like,
only have like
trash the place?
the video of people saying like happy birthday to me. But yeah.
I don't know. Banned from Airbnb. Airbnb, free my girl, Puffymac.
I'm banned.
That's crazy. It's been 10 years. You've been banned from Airbnb.
Not literally 10, but I think it's been like 4 years, I think, something like that. Yeah.
All right.
That's crazy.
4 years in the can. Okay, Julie, beat that.
I don't really go out,
Oh my God.
but like it's
Nobody
just
goes
regular.
out.
It's just like regular parties or like club days, you know, like nothing crazy happens ever.
Oh, okay, so like, okay, let me rephrase the question. What do you guys feel about the Toronto club scene? Like, you think it's lit? Like, we still
I
have lit parties?
Just started going clubbing this summer actually, so
Oh, you just started.
yeah,
How you feel about it?
it's pretty fun.
Yeah?
I mean, it depends on the people you go with. Like I've had pretty bad experiences where, because I have really bad anxiety, so
Oh, okay.
I'll like stick myself in a corner and not move. But like if I'm with the right people, then I have fun.
Turn up. All right. Cool.
Yeah, I don't really like clubs, to be honest. It's not like something I like. I'd rather house party like vibe than clubs, so I don't really go to clubs like that. But I don't know. I think that there are clubs that kind of focus more on like you know, like cultured clubs. But I've heard that a lot of clubs like within like Toronto downtown, King Street especially, are like very focused for like, you know, like white people, and like that's really like all they hire. That's more so who they kind of like, you know, attend to. So that's what I've heard, but I don't know. I don't really
So the
club like
clubs
that.
be racist in Toronto.
Yeah, definitely
Wow.
like that. Like they don't hire like bottle girls really that are like women of color so much. Like it's a lot harder when you are like a person of color rather than like than not.
Interesting. I think I've seen that a few times on TikTok where people were calling out like, you know, the nightclub on
definitely.
King Street for not letting them in or like stuff like that. But I didn't know it was a thing with hiring as well.
Yeah, definitely. I have a friend who's like in the nightlife, like that's like her jobs, like her job, career, life, whatever. But yeah, and like she's definitely told me about that, and I think that's like really sad and disgusting and prejudiced and unfortunate. So yeah, I think that the clubs in Toronto should definitely work on that.
Yeah, justice for black people.
For people of color,
Or people of color
like
in
all
general.
people of color in
Yeah,
general. Yeah.
all of us.
When I do go out, I prefer like Afro lounges just because like I feel like the music is better. Like I don't want to go to a club and they're just playing like their
Yeah, like,
rap music, trap
the
music,
whole
or
time,
like
yeah.
that kind of stuff. I'm not trying to hear that. And I
Mm.
like Afro lounges because like I feel like it's a different vibe. Like you're there to actually have fun. Like you're actually dancing. Everyone's not just kind of like standing on the couch and looking at each other. So yeah.
Makes sense. Me too. Like I enjoy like, the Afro lounges. Shout out to a few Afro lounges that I actually like, rate in the city in X. Um, let me see. Who else? Who else? Club Six Lounge is pretty dope too. What you say? Vibes Lounge. Shout out my guy AJ Styles. Yeah, man. Like, we got a few Afro lounges that like, we like to go party. If y'all ain't checked those out yet.
Yeah, I've never been to a lounge actually.
Really?
Yeah.
All right, cool. Role Models Podcast got to do a party at one of them lounges, invite a bunch of people over. Let's turn up. Because let me tell you, the Afro vibes is completely different. Like people actually be having fun. And it's safer. It's safer than most of the clubs that like, a lot of people go to. So yeah, we're probably going to do that this summer. It's summertime. So yeah, we're going to try to party. Y'all coming out? Yeah. Yeah.
Maybe.
They trying to stay at home in summer.
I'm a homebody, but you gotta step up.
What if we pull up in like, a party bus? You gonna leave your house?
I don't know, man. It's hard for me to leave my house. Like, I don't know. I don't. It takes a lot. It takes a lot.
All right, we'll figure it out. Y'all heard about the Huck Tua girl?
Like not really. Like I think like yesterday briefly I got a little
This is the one
summary.
that, she did a street interview.
Yeah.
I've seen it, but I
Huck.
just saw her. I don't know what else she said.
All right, so that literally was a viral clip where she was pretty much, you get the picture, or do you understand the words that are coming out of my mouth?
I didn't get it. I've just never seen it.
So pretty much, they asked her a question like, I think the best way to satisfy a guy in the bedroom, and she was like, "You gotta give it that Huck Tua, spit on that thing," with a Southern accent. And it went viral, and now she's doing club appearances, getting paid $30,000 to just show up and do her catchphrase and shit. She's being brought out to like concerts and shit. Like she's like having a wild ride right now, and she's selling merch. She sold out merch worth $60,000, like literally. Like,
What did I think of that?
well, we can set up an interview on King Street.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And somebody just did, you gotta say something crazy, and let's see what happens. Let's see if the blogs are gonna like viralize that
It's
shit,
crazy.
and then you can start getting like 30K to show up and shit like that.
Yeah, I don't know if that's my life though.
Hey man, you gotta give it that hook. Nah, but for real though, like I feel like virality, like you gotta really be on your bag, like on social media. Like people are literally like raking in a lot of money just from online presence. Is that your thing, Aliyah?
That is not my thing, but I mean, hey, if you can do something and like it's gonna help you start making money, then go for it. Why not?
Puffy, you've had some success with like virality and like YouTube and TikTok and all of that. So it's like, what's it like making like online money?
Honestly, I feel like it was like because at the time, like now we don't really like, it's not like we don't really film that much, it's like we were way more present once upon a time. And I feel like it was also like a group thing. So you're splitting income 3 ways, right? So it's like, it's not like I was just like, doing it on my own. So it's like you definitely don't see as much income coming that way. And my solo channel, I just didn't really, I don't know, like filming was kind of like, I like filming with people. I like talking in like settings like this, but like just by myself sitting in front of a camera, it just wasn't for me. So I didn't really like make many videos. I didn't continue that like solo path to really like see, that just wasn't for me. But I think that like, I agree. Like, I think that like, if you say something crazy in a street interview and that like is bringing you money and you make merch and stuff, like great for you. Why would you like, you know, not do that? But I just think it's like kind of unfortunate who we give like attention to and who we give clout to a lot of the times, because it's like just so like thoughtless and brainless, you know. And then like there's people that are genuinely like putting in the work and like, you know, there's like passion behind what they do, you know what I mean, stuff like that. And then we'll give clout to somebody who was like spit on somebody, you know. And it's just like, okay, I guess. But I think that's just like our
Shots
generation.
fired. Hawk Tour girl, you've got 24 hours to respond to
No.
Puffymac.
It's nothing against her. It's literally the people that, it's us actually. It's not her, it's us, you know? Like it's actually us. Yeah.
Okay.
How do you feel?
What was the question?
I think the girl like getting viral.
like
going
viral and like
you
making
know,
money
off
off of that.
Honestly, it's not my thing really. But I wish I had the confidence to like go viral or like put myself out there, because they do make a lot of money. You get a lot of benefits. Like people are sending you like PR packages, like a bunch of shit like that. So I feel like ideally that is like a comfortable life and a good job to want, but I don't have the confidence for that shit.
Yeah. I think neither does she actually, but like there was a point at which like, you know, when she went viral, she like literally like just disappeared like off social media. And, like people were literally begging her, hey, Hawk Tour girl, come online. We're gonna give you $20,000 to do this. We're gonna give you like, and people were like, yo, like why isn't she like milking this situation? Like why isn't she like, you know, coming out to like be like, yeah, I'm that Hawk Tour girl, put it on merch, like, you know, open a page, like, you know, stuff like that. And like she just disappeared. And then like, you know, I think maybe like societal pressures or like whatever, or she just saw like, hey, like, you know, this could be like, you know, a good exit from the rat race. Also, she got fired from her job, actually.
Yeah, that's crazy.
So I mean, that kind of like would give you more pressure to be like,
But she got fired for
from the video.
What?
Like for the video, yeah, she got
That's
fired
crazy.
because she worked at a school with kids, right? And apparently, like the kids like saw the video and like they kind of like the virality and the like, you know, attention she was getting, and they let her go. So I mean, like if you're out of a job, and there's literally this gold mine waiting for you to tap in, then I mean, I don't blame her.
I don't either.
Ride that wave while you can.
I don't either. Yeah, while you can, because those waves, like, you know, they're waves. They come and they go. Like, there's been so many people that have got famous and then, you
They
know,
just
like,
fall off
and
after.
then, like that girl on TikTok who used to do the popcorn thing. Her? Pinky Doll, I think was her name.
Oh yeah,
like
amazing.
That's the thing with social
Ice cream so
media.
good. Like yo, we've literally like seen it all at this point. Like from the AI to like, you know, Hawk Tour to like, you know, I think you just got to do the craziest things to really like blow up these days. You know what I mean? And get that virality. So, how do you guys feel about like dating sites? Y'all still use those?
I've never used it.
Never used that. No.
Never used it.
Okay, so what do you think is the best way to like make, you know, connections in a city like Toronto where it's like bare people? You say Instagram, TikTok, or just in person?
I definitely think organically, like in person.
Mhm.
But I've met people through like Instagram too.
Like romantic connections?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I think I would say definitely organically. I think is ideal, like, you know, like through people, real life, you know. But I think, yeah, in this generation, like social media, you know, probably does play a part for sure. But I think organically is still like it's still nice. That's ideal. Yeah.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. It's always better to meet people like in person than like social media. But I feel like social media is a big
Huge.
factor in it. Yeah, like I think people meet through social media all the time now. So
Okay. Do you think it's like easy to like make friends in Toronto? Like if you're not already in that circle, that friend group. We'll start with you this time, Aliyah.
damn, I feel like you start with me a lot. Gotta start over here.
Too much pressure.
Yeah, it's a lot of pressure.
All right, we'll start. I think I've started with Julie so many times. So Puffymac, it's back to you.
Do I think it's hard? I think it can be hard, yeah, for sure. Like I think once you hit a certain age, so like if you're not in college anymore, it can definitely be hard just because people kind of have their people. And I think a lot of people are definitely hesitant to meet new people because at this age, I think we've all experienced like weird people or like, you know, friendships like betrayal and stuff like that. So a lot of people are standoffish, which is fair completely. So I think that it can be difficult. But I think like situations like maybe like I've met like some of the greatest friends through jobs, honestly, like through like coworkers that became like sisters to me and stuff. So I think like places like that, if you go out, I'm sure too, maybe like that's a good way to meet people. But yeah, I could see how it can be hard, like 1,000%. Like if, you know, people were to say that for sure.
Okay.
I agree. I don't know. She just goes so in depth. Like
I'm gonna
like,
stop going in depth.
No. But it's good. It's good. It's
Her
good.
responses
I
should not
agree.
affect yours. Like,
I
talk
know,
about
but
your personal
yeah,
experiences.
and I agree. I agree that it can be hard.
Yeah.
It's probably, it also depends on your personality. Like if you're more extroverted, I feel like it's much easier for you to make friends because you're extroverted. Whereas like introverted people, obviously
100%.
harder. But yeah.
Would you consider yourself introverted?
Yes, absolutely. But I also feel like I can be extroverted too sometimes. I just
Okay.
have to be comfortable.
I guess. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. And Aliyah.
Yeah, I agree with both of their
What?
answers. No, I agree with both of their answers. But yeah, I feel like you have to be intentional about it though. Like when you do get to like a certain age where, you know, yeah, like you're not in school or you might not be in those, you know, atmospheres anymore. So I think if you are looking for friends, you really have to be intentional about it and not like, you know, just hey and hi and bye and here or whatever. So I think you need to put like the effort in if you're actually, you know, trying to make new friends like at this point, because yeah, like a lot of people already have like, you know, like their friend groups and like the people that they're close with. So it can definitely be hard.
Can I ask a question?
Yeah.
Have you guys ever, because when you said intentional, made me think of that. Have you ever like plotted on like a friend? Like I think like a lot of people talk about like, oh, I've plotted on like this relationship or something, like this girl I wanted or this guy I wanted. But like, have you guys ever plotted on a friend where you were like, I really want to be friends with this person? Like I hear things like that a lot.
Yeah. Yeah. I feel like I have. Like it's more of an intentional thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
I feel like I have, because there's some people like, you know, maybe you meet them and like, you know, you vibe real well with them, and it's like it has to be an intention of like, okay, like I want this person in my life. So like I'm gonna make the effort to show them like, hey, like I'm extending that, like, you know,
Mm-hmm.
that branch of friendship.
Yeah.
Because you got to show them your value sometimes first
Mm-hmm.
before people will be like, oh yeah, like, you know, because a lot of people have trust issues. You know
Yeah,
what I mean?
exactly. That's what I
So
mean.
it's like you got to show like, okay, you're a good person, like, you know, you are intentional about being a friend, and then you see what the response is to that. And sometimes you might be having the intention to be a good friend, but you judge wrong and the person is actually a shitty friend. And then it's like they're not putting in that same effort that you want them to put, and the friendship just doesn't work out.
I think that also kind of goes with like high maintenance and low maintenance friendships and like
True,
the type
true.
of friend that you are and like, you know, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Let's go into a little bit of like, you know, health and like, you know, fitness. Aliyah, you know, definitely starting with you on this one. So like, what's your like fitness like journey been like? You know, want to talk about that?
Yeah, you wanna take the mic? Okay, so yeah, I'd say I'm like pretty big into like health and fitness. I always like played sports and stuff that I enjoyed, but I wasn't like big on like the gym or anything like that. Like I would try to go to the gym, but like never really stayed focused on it. I'd say during COVID is definitely when I got serious about it, and I started like doing workouts from home, and it just kind of became like a routine thing. Like now I go to the gym about 5 days a week, really into weight training. I actually just joined a run club recently, like a month ago. And like, I hate running, but I was like, let me introduce something new into like my workout regimen. And I've actually been really enjoying it. So that's awesome. Shout out to the run clubs.
I was literally gonna ask you like, how do you stay consistent in
Yeah.
the gym? Like, you know, when you go through those like I don't know, like I'll go through these like mental slumps and then I'm like, I don't want to go. Like, how do you, like continue to like have that motivation?
Yeah, so the thing for me that I learned like early on, it's definitely not about motivation to stay consistent, because motivation is something that like comes and goes. And if you're like thinking about, oh, I need to be motivated, there's a lot of times you're not going to be motivated. It really has to be like a lifestyle and something that's like your regimen, like something like you like to do, like that you do daily, and you have to like it. I feel like a lot of people, like they go to the gym and they do things that they don't like. If you don't like what you're doing in the gym, you're not gonna want to do it. So find what type of workout style works for you, and that's gonna help you see the results that you want. Because also once you start seeing results, that's gonna make you want to keep going. So for me, it's definitely not about motivation. It's really just about I made that change in my life and now it's like a part of me. Like even if I don't want to go, because there's definitely days I do not want to go, but I still go because I'm like, this is something I do. Like I don't want to go to work, but I
Something
still
you
go to
committed
work.
to, you know what I mean?
Yeah, you have to be like committed to it, committed to that lifestyle change, and yeah, that's how I go.
That's pretty good. 5 times a week. How many of you can say that? I can't even say that. Shit. Show off.
I know, and that's like amazing, like literally amazing. I've been like I've gone through so many periods where I've been consistent for like 3 months at a time, 4 months at a time, and then like I'll fall off, and I feel like it's definitely true because motivation is not something that like sticks around a lot of the time. So it's like even when you're not feeling motivated, you have to go. I feel like I try to tell myself like just in life, like things like commitments, like I think that like that's how you learn to trust yourself. Like when you tell yourself like I'm gonna do something and then you actually do it and you show up for yourself and you do those things, it just shows like, okay, I'm capable of doing it. And then you kind of like you stay in that routine because you're like, I told myself I'm gonna do this and I do it. So I think that like you have to just want it, I think. And I think that's my problem. Like, I don't think that I've like wanted it bad enough. It must be, because like I always end up like falling off with it. But I do like the gym though, and I think that it's like really great for your mental health and like
Oh yeah, the mental
I'm
health part
definitely
is
for
heavy.
it. Like it helps a lot. So yeah.
Yeah,
Julie.
I have also gone through phases where I've been to the gym, not for as long though. Like my periods or the phases I go through are like a month and then I give up. But it's because I don't see the results fast enough. And I know that you have to like be patient and stuff and everyone's different, but then I just get like unmotivated and I don't want to go anymore.
No,
But I would love to like be one of those people. I would love to be like you. Like I would that's like the end goal. But yeah.
Well, so one thing that I kind of learned in the start is that I feel like the first step of a good workout is a good outfit. I feel like, no, I'm so serious. Like, I feel like if you feel like you look good, you're gonna feel good, and then you're gonna have a good workout because you do better when you feel good about yourself. So if you look in a mirror and you feel like you have a cute outfit on, that's the first step.
I do that though. I go shopping for like gym clothes. I'm just not motivated. Like I'll be like, okay, if I wear something cute, I'll want to go work out. But then like I'll go work out for the next like 2 weeks and I'll be like, fuck, like nothing changed.
I feel like my problem too is like it's like when you already have like body issues and you don't like what you look like, it's like I'm wearing I'm wearing a cute outfit, but I hate my body. You know what I mean? So it's like that doesn't help. So I think it's like that's been hard for me too, for sure, because it's like like I'm going and I'm being like like I'm committed to this. I've been going for months and it's like I still don't like what I see in the mirror, and then it's just kind of like then I get into this whole mindset where it's like I'm never gonna be able to like get what I want in the gym, like the body that I want. It's like it's not gonna happen, and then I'm just like forget it, and it's like this whole and it's hard to like get myself out that rut.
I can definitely relate to that because when I started working out in the first place during COVID was because I gained a whole bunch of weight. So I didn't like how I looked. So I'm like, hey, I was like, I need to change this. And then that's what was first my motivating factor is like, I want to look better. Like, I want to feel better. And then, so of course at the start, I wasn't really focused on like my outfit. But then when I did start seeing changes and then I was wearing like the cute outfits and I started, you know, kind of like getting higher confidence and like how I felt and how I looked, then it definitely, you know, kind of took off from there and definitely started helping. So.
Do you use things like pre-workout or creatine? Like, do you use those things or?
Yeah, so I do use pre-workout. At first, like I never used it when I first started my fitness journey. And then when I did use it, I didn't like that tingly feeling, like that side effect. I didn't like it. But then the more I used it and the more I made it like a part of my get ready for the gym routine, I started to like it. And now, yeah, I use that every session, could practically snort it.
So it does make a difference though, like it does.
Yeah, it even helps with just like motivating you as well. Like for me, I'm like a really routine kind of person and like a procedural person. Like I like things that are like kind of like steps. So it's like all a part of like my get ready, which helps with motivation for the gym. But like the thing is when you get that tingly feeling, you need to work out to get it to stop tingling. So you know, you're like working out more. So
makes sense.
Yeah, but I don't use like creatine or any other supplements or anything like that.
So let's take this back to dating, yeah? How would you rate 2024 men, especially like Toronto mans out here in these streets?
What do you mean? How would I rate them?
Like, you think there's like a lot of quality guys, like in terms of like the dating scene, or do you think that, you know, we need to do some work in the city, or just in general as a gender?
That's a gender. I feel like with dating, my biggest thing is people need to, one, date people they actually like, and two, date people who have like the same ideologies as you, the same like values and beliefs as you, because if not, you're just gonna be like clashing and you're gonna want someone to be something that they're not. So, yeah.
That makes sense. Puffy?
Yeah, I definitely agree with that, but I would say the question was like,
yeah,
my
like,
just
you
thoughts and
think
opinions
that
on them.
the men these days, like, you know, are quality men, like, you know, a lot of them are like, you know, dating material, they trying to date, or you think like, you know, they just playing around?
I think that like just like our age group, I think it's kind of like difficult because I think a lot of people aren't really ready, like in like even like for example, once again in our parents' generation, I just think things were different, you know, like in your at 19, 18, 17, actually they're getting married, or like, you know what I mean, like they are like already starting that process. I think like it's a lot different now where like, you know, people want to have kids at a later age, they want to get married at a later age. So I think with that, like people aren't really like, they don't really want to commit as much. But I think that's not just men, like I could say like, you know, women too, for sure, I think. So I think it's just different. But definitely date who you like and date who likes you. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. I think that people just don't know what they want right now. Like we're at the age where people are still finding themselves. So it's like it goes for both men and women. So
Okay, to piggyback off that, people are, you know, taking longer to find themselves in our generation. Do you think like, you know, that, like, what do you think is the cause of that?
just the world. I feel like the world is just evolving. Yeah.
I think there's a lot that goes into that.
That was actually like, you know, a question that I wanted to come back to you.
Yeah, I think there's like a lot that goes into that because like
lay it on me.
I think that's like a very multi-layered question. Like for one, I think back, like you know, let's go back to like 20 years, 30 years, even 10 years ago. Like I don't think that like we talked about mental health, like, you know, things like that weren't discussed. So, you know, also too, we have social media. I don't think that we're supposed to digest as many things that we do. Like we see, there's so many things that we think like 40 years ago, people weren't like, hey, like this is a self-help a self-healing journey and this is what you need to do and you should be doing this and you should wake up at 8 a.m. and you should do this and you might have autism and you might be on the spectrum and you might, you know what I mean? Like there's so many things that we have to digest in this day and age in this society. So I think it's so hard to, you always feel like you have to like do something. Like I have to be bettering myself in this aspect or this aspect or this aspect. Like that just was not spoken about, you know, like a generation ago, generations ago at all. So I just don't think that that was even like a focus for them, you know, like I think that our parents, a lot of them have a lot of mental health issues and problems. It's true, like, you know, vices that they didn't deal with because they weren't even knowledgeable on that you know fact at all. But you know, we kind of have that, so it's hard to, you always feel like you're finding yourself or you always feel like you have work to do when there's so much telling you, you know, that like you need to be better and you should have this and you should have that. You know, there's a completely different like pressure, I think, on our generation. So it's like, I don't think that we're finding ourselves slower. I just think that there's so much more on us that we feel like there are more things wrong with us.
The pressure is getting worse.
Worse.
What about you, Aliyah?
Yeah, I agree with that. There is a lot of societal pressure. I think we're constantly comparing ourselves to our peers and also people who aren't even our peers. It almost always feels like a game of catch up almost, especially like where the economy is. I think people are so focused on just trying to survive that they're not focused on like other things like, you know, like dating and relationships and stuff like that, or even really bettering yourself, because a lot of time you don't even have the time to put into, you know, like a healing journey or whatnot, because you're just trying, you know, to live. Like especially here in Toronto, like it's awful, like the work field as well. So yeah, it's kind of hard to work on yourself when you're working on everything else.
That's true.
I saw this interview, and I think it was 50 Cent, if I'm not wrong, and he was talking about how like he doesn't have the privilege, like I'm pretty sure you said something like this, he doesn't have the privilege to be depressed. And I think that kind of goes into like what you were saying, like it's hard to even like, yeah, like I don't have time for, you know, a self-healing journey or to do all these things because like a lot of people don't have the privilege to, you know what I mean? Like I don't get to do that. Like I have to go to work and I have to do this, and you know, I work 4 jobs. Like I don't have the time to do all that. So it's like, I think a lot of it too is like, yeah, unfortunately, like we're not granted the privilege to do those things. And it's like definitely because of the economy that we live in and the world that we live in, that is just, it's just unfortunate.
That's deep. Okay, let's get deeper. What do you think is the purpose of life? Aliyah.
I think the purpose of life is just trying to find your happiness, you know, like what makes you happy, because life is such a fragile thing and it is really short, actually. You know, you don't know what's, you know, going to be waiting for you tomorrow. And I think something that I often talk about with friends is that a lot of the time, maybe, you know, you're like planning and saving and doing all this for thinking for like 30 years in the future, and you could be working your butt off for that vision you have in 30 years in the future, but you don't even know if you have next week. So although of course it's important to, you know, be doing things like saving and planning for your future, but I think it's as important to live like in the moment, enjoy yourself. Life is for the living. So that's what I think.
Facts. Life is for the living. Puffy.
You know, let Julie go.
Okay.
I don't know.
Why are we here?
I agree with her. I do think that like you should be finding your own happiness, finding yourself. Yeah, I couldn't have said it better.
Okay. Puffymac.
Yeah, when she said that, I thought of that saying that God laughs when you make plans, and I think that that's a saying I really try to go off of.
That's kind of cynical.
It's
like
it's important
but God,
though.
I'm just trying to live. It's like
Yeah.
suffer?
I think that I think that our whole life we've been taught that purpose is like this really big thing that like you find one day, you know, in like your career, or when you're 45 you finally are like, oh, my purpose was to do this. And I just don't look at purpose like that. I kind of view purpose as like an everyday thing. I think your purpose is in your friends. I think your purpose is in like, you know, your loved ones. I think your purpose is like literally in everything that you do. And I think that we're all stepping stones to one another. That's kind of how I view life. And I think your purpose could be something as small as like, you know, like helping somebody to get somewhere else. And like, that was your purpose for that. Like, you know, I just think that like purpose is not this big destination that we reach. I don't think like that's the purpose of life. I think that we're here to learn. I think that is the biggest thing. And that's why I also try to like live with the whole concept of like, there's no such thing as like winning or losing. You know, you either win or you learn. Like you're always learning. You're here to learn. And you don't, yeah, like I just really think that like the purpose of life is to learn. I think everything is a lesson. So that's how I view like why we're here, for sure.
Wow.
That's amazing.
Yeah, that is, yeah, that's a very good answer. For me, I feel like, yeah, we are here to learn. There's a reason they call it the Matrix, right? Like, you know, we are literally trapped in a simulation.
It's an interlude.
Yeah, I'm like, what happens next? Like, that's crazy. Like, we can't even like figure out what's happening here, let alone fathom what happens next. Funny story. Well, not really a funny story, but true story. I had a dream the other day, right? It's kind of weird. I've been having really lucid dreams. I don't know if that's happening to any of you. You too?
Yeah.
Oh,
within,
shit.
Like, this last week specifically.
Bro, like mine started like literally like 2 months ago.
We're in Saturn retrograde, so a lot of weird dreams should be going on right now.
Yeah, so like I had this dream, right? It was like a prison world. Like we're in a prison and we're guarded by these like not human looking things, but they kind of had human shape. And like I literally like I stole one of their vehicles, like their tanks, and I bust out of like, you know, the wall. And immediately I bust out of the wall. Everybody in the prison starts running outside of the wall. And when we ran outside of the wall, there were literally other guards coming to like catch us. But then like, you know, my consciousness in the dream, like kind of like zoomed out. And all of a sudden I could see that every time you bust out of the wall or the prison that you're in, it's like just a bigger prison and a bigger prison, like an onion layer. And it was like so deep. Like I was like, whoa, like, you know, when I woke up, I was like, that's so crazy. It's like, there's all these things about escaping the matrix and escaping the rat race, but do we really ever escape that? I mean, unless death, I don't know, but like, do we really escape the matrix? Do we really like, I don't know, it's kind of crazy.
I've never even seen The Matrix, so this reference you're making.
Bruh, you have not seen The Matrix? No. That's your assignment tonight. Go watch that. That's a friggin' masterpiece. What about you, Puffy? What do you think about what I just said?
This is all her. It's not Mike's not coming to me next.
I think that dream, I think that like, if anything, I think that kind of shows a lot of probably like where your subconscious is. Like, I think that may actually be like how you kind of feel currently, maybe like, you know, you escape one thing to just like hop into another obstacle. You know what I mean? Like you're constantly like, you know, you do this and you just get over one hurdle to get into another and get into another.
Isn't that
like,
kind of like an allegory for life though? Like you come out of
For
school,
sure.
you start working, you're supposed to
always
get
chasing.
married, then have kids. And then like, you know, there's always something like, you know, even when you're making money, oh, all of a sudden things are like prices are going up. You got to make more money. You have one job and then you got to have 3 to survive. So it's like, there's always something that challenges us.
Do you think that that's the universe, or do you think that was
It's a construct.
yeah, like that was a construct, like that was a social construct that they created? Like, I don't think that that's like, unfortunately, that's how it is, you know? I think that like that it's really unfortunate that that's how it is. Like, I don't think that we were put here to like just, you know, work and then or go to school and do this and do this, and then you retire at 65, and then, you know, you have a couple years left, and then that's it. Like, I don't, you know, but that construct was made by man, you know, so that's like, it was literally made by man. But I don't know. I look at life as like an interlude, so I don't know.
Okay, so I think a couple of you mentioned like, you know, the self-healing journey.
Mm-hmm.
So that's like, to me, like it's a kind of like a spiritual thing, right? Like self-healing, like it's a journey. So it's like, what does that look like for you?
So you.
For me, I think it looks like holding yourself accountable for maybe your behaviors that you need to change, and, you know, taking like tangible steps to work on that. Maybe that's looks like going to therapy for you. Maybe that looks like going to church for you. But yeah, I think obviously it's a personal journey. I think for me, it's about trying to be better each day, trying to work on faults each day. And yeah, I feel like that's what it is for me. And working out.
agree. I think that
And working out.
self-healing is, for me, it's being okay with letting things just be, because I feel like I'm a control freak, so I try to control every aspect of my life, and like that is something that I'm working on, and like, yeah, that's just my healing journey. Just being
Preach.
okay with like things I can't control, because before I used to actually like drive myself insane, go like spiral out because something didn't go the way that I wanted it to, or like, you know.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah.
No, that's good. That's like literally self-awareness.
I think my biggest thing for my self-healing journey is learning how to forgive myself. I think I'm like amazing at forgiving everybody else and giving everybody else grace, but when it comes to myself, I have a very, very hard time forgiving myself, and I think that like is like the root of a lot of my problems, because like not being able to forgive yourself for who you are as a person is just gonna hold you back so much. So just learning how to like be okay with who I am, and knowing that, you know, like no one is perfect and you can be a better person. And if I give that same grace to other people, why do I not deserve it myself? So
Wow. That makes a lot of sense. Forgive yourself. You have something to add to that?
What does yours look like?
My self-healing journey kind of looks like, first off, like healing from past trauma, like a lot of childhood trauma. It took a long time for me to get to the point where, like, you know, I was able to accept, I guess, a lot of the things that happened growing up. And I feel like a lot of people are stuck in that loop where it's like they don't come to that acceptance of, like, you know, how their life was or how they were formed, their childhood experience and stuff like that. So, like, you know, that's why a lot of people, like, they can't reconcile, like, you know, their adulthood because they're still traumatized by their childhood. You know what I mean? So, like, you know, a lot of people walking around with trauma. You said something about therapy, like going to therapy. A lot of Black people, you know, Black people or people of color don't really, you know, think it's valid to go to therapy to, like, you know, address a lot of, like, you know, their unresolved issues. I tried therapy once. I would say, like, you know, it's kind of subjective, but like I feel like everybody needs to try it at least once and figure out if it works for them. For me, like, you know, part of my self-healing journey was also going into music. Music was huge in my therapeutic journey, like just even in self-discovery, writing songs about my emotions. That was kind of like, you know, my out. For some people it's journaling, for some people it's writing, for some people it's art, painting. For me it was music, and music was my first love. And, you know, I was very expressive with that. And now, like, it more of looks like accepting the world, accepting people, their shortcomings, because I've been hurt a lot of, you know, times by people like I trusted, or like people that, like, you know, betrayed me, or people that weren't there for me when I thought that they would be. So it's like accepting that people just are people, And yeah. So it's been a long journey, and obviously, like, I'm still in that phase of, like, self healing. Part of it now is also traveling. I like to travel and, like, see the world and, like, see, like, something bigger than myself. I like to travel and expand my mind and my horizons. I always tell people, like, you got to travel. You've got to see the world, because you discover a little bit of yourself that you would never discover if you stay in the same place. Because I tell you, like, it inhibits you when you only have one, like, experience of the world, one worldview. So it's great to travel. And finally, self healing. I would say fitness as well. I love going to the gym. I love, like, working out and taking care of myself more now. You know what I mean? Because, like, even in what I do now as a business owner, like, it's a very stressful situation. Like, I work every day. Some people have 4 jobs. I work every day, even for, like, the one thing that, like, I'm trying to build. It's like, it's crazy. Work 12-hour days, sleep, like, very short periods of time. So it's like coming to that, like, self-care. Yeah, that's my self-healing journey. Whoa, like, you
Hear
made me
that.
talk today. Holy shit. I don't usually, like, be going off, but, like, yeah, like, this is kind of like, it's turning
Important.
into a therapy session. Holy shit. I like it. Yeah, Julie, how you feeling?
Good.
Yeah, feels wholesome.
It just
I gotta,
feels.
gotta talk about your feelings a little bit. Okay, so the next thing I want to talk about, you were talking about, like, having vivid dreams as well. So, like, can you tell me a little bit about that process for you? Like,
Yeah, so I feel like the thing about my dreams is like I often forget them like after I wake up. Like right when I wake up, I'll remember it, but then they kind of just like fade away after. But like what I can say is that they've been like, yeah, very vivid, very like clear. Like I know exactly who's all there and like what's going on. And it's very like kind of like close to home things or things like from the past. So yeah, it's been pretty interesting. Wonder what that's about. Maybe I'll read a horoscope and see. Yeah.
not the horoscopes. Maybe it's just like coming to terms with your subconscious. Maybe you're finally connecting with your subconscious and it's trying to tell you things. You know what I mean?
Maybe.
Because, like, yeah, like that's one way I'm looking at it. Like you said too, like, from my experience, it could be like, my subconscious trying to tell me something, or just like, where I'm perceiving something that I'm not seeing in reality, but like in the dream state, I'm able to see. The other thing that I wanted to ask about is literally like religion. What are your beliefs? We start with Julie this time.
I grew up in a Buddhist household, but like it was never really forced on me. So like I'll say I'm Buddhist, but my mom will be like, "You're not Buddhist."
Mm.
So I'm like, okay.
She don't even claim you.
Yeah, she
Crazy.
don't claim me. It's because I don't pray and like I only it's pretty bad, but I really only pray when I'm like in need of help or like I feel like I'm like spiraling, which is really bad. I should get into the habit of praying more often, but I would love to fully like be Buddhist,
Mm.
but
It's a journey at the end of the day, right?
That's so interesting. I didn't know that. That's
What?
really cool. I would say, yeah, I didn't really grow up. Actually, like my dad was very religious, but I didn't really grow up with him much, and my mom wasn't religious at all. My grandma was Muslim, but my mom just kind of didn't believe in anything. So I kind of feel like I fell into that more. Like I just didn't believe in anything at all until I kind of went through my like grief journey. And I just really couldn't grasp that concept of nothingness, And I think that spirituality came very like natural to me. And that's why it makes sense to me because it just came organically. Like it all made sense. It just really aligned for me. So I would say I'm more so spiritual than religious, but like I think when I say that, people think I don't believe in God or something. Like I believe in God and like I pray daily, like that's a big thing for me. I pray all the time. But yeah, I'm definitely more spiritual than like any religion. Yeah.
Okay. That's cool.
So I'm Christian.
Hallelujah.
But no, I'm not like a super religious person either. I don't know if I would necessarily say spiritual either, but I think that everyone has a different like relationship with God, and I think that that's what matters. I don't think other people need to be able to like relate to your journey or understand it. I think it's like different for everybody. I don't personally feel like you need to go to church to like call yourself a Christian or say that you believe in God. I think it's the relationship that you have with God. So personally, like my own relationship, I think that's just what matters to me, not necessarily being in church, but I do love a good worship. But yeah, so I think it kind of just, it looks different for everybody. I think it's interesting that you said during your grief journey, it made you believe more. I think during my grief journey, it kind of made me take a step back, but I think that had to do a lot with like the anger part of grief. But even then, that didn't necessarily make me like stop believing in God. But yeah, I think it's kind of just really different for everybody. I think it is a real personal thing. And I think about how you feel and what you feel like your connection is. That's just what matters. So,
I definitely do get that though, that whole like anger part for sure, because I kind of was like, if there's a God, he would never do this to me, like there's no way, like why would a God be so cruel, like there's just no way. So I definitely do like understand that whole thing too. That's definitely like, it's hard when you go through like such hard times and you're like, like how, like why would somebody ever do this? So I hear that.
I got a personal theory. I think we blame God for things that God does not do. I think that it's not about God allowing things or not allowing things. But there are forces in this world that are very like, negative and like, very, should I say, diabolical. But then we assume that God should be in control of everything. So why does he let those things happen?
That was always contradicting to me.
Yeah.
So
And
that's why I think I had a hard time with religion, because those things like just contradicted them. Like it was too contradicting to me, and I was like, I don't understand that. Like so everything good, like that's what God does, right? But
Right.
everything bad God doesn't do. Like I just think that doesn't, like that's like saying like the bad things they happen for no reason, and the good things they do happen for a reason to me. And I think the bad things are for a reason too. And like we may view death as something bad, or we may view this as something bad, but it's like it's not like inherently bad. Like it's part of life,
part of the
like it's
cycle of
literally
life,
part
I
of the
guess.
cycle.
But
I
I
don't think
think,
it's something logical that we're ever going to grasp and make sense of, because it's a spiritual thing. You know what I mean? Like it's
yeah, it's a
beyond
spiritual
that.
thing, but it's also like, if you notice, like when it hits us, when we are affected directly by it, our response is completely different from like from a distance.
What do you mean?
Like just perceiving like people die every day.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? But when it's not close to us, it's like we're not like, well, some people are very sensitive to even like hearing of like news of like bad things happening in the world, even if it's far away from them. But on a day to day, when you don't see those things, like I don't even watch the news anymore because like it's just a lot going on and it's on a daily. So it's like I feel like I don't know if you guys know a lot about the teachings of Jesus Christ, but I think personally, like, it's not even about religion at this point. Like, everything is a spiritual thing. Whatever religion you are, it's still part of some spiritual a doctrine, right? And I feel like from the teachings of Jesus, like, it was more of this world is kind of fucked up, but he's trying to prepare our mindset or our consciousness for what comes after, because this realm is what it is. The suffering, the trials, the challenges, it's kind of like what it is over here. That's why the message was
It's a test.
there's something better outside of this, because this is what it is. You know what I mean? Like there's a deeper understanding into like just life in general when you think of it that way, because good things happen. Some people say like, it's heaven on earth. Some people say it's hell on earth. Both happen here, but can we really blame God if God is all good for that? Or is God not all good? It's a deep philosophical question, because where did evil come from? There's all of that. Like, you know, why did God create evil? If God is all good, did God create evil? You know, it's a deeper, you know, construct that like, you know, needs to, as part of the matrix. But from my understanding, I think like, you know, when we, like there are some people, they see death as transcendent. So
Mhm.
when people around them die, they don't cry about it. It's more of, okay, they're on to the next phase of their journey. You know what I mean? So it's like, you can look at it from that perspective, or you can look at it from like a normal human perspective, which is why the fuck are people dying? Like literally, like, you know what I mean? It's like the world is just a very dark place, and everybody is asking, where is God in all this mess? Let's tune it down a little bit because I, you know, it's getting kind of morbid in here. Let's go back to like, you know, regular day life. Do y'all feel like women should have babies before they get married, or it's kind of like a personal decision for every woman whether they want to have babies before they get married or they want to have babies after they get married? Puffymac.
Not everybody believes in marriage, you know? So I
Okay,
think that
that's
like
yeah.
I think, yeah, like I think a lot of people think like, yeah, you should do that. And I do understand the reasons behind it as well, too, for sure. But I think it's circumstantial, right? Because like if somebody doesn't want to get married, like, and that's not something they believe in, then, you know, they don't have to follow that order that like we've been taught.
Mhm.
But I think too, I at least like what I've heard, I think a lot of people in this day and age kind of see marriage like as a bigger commitment in a sense than like having kids, you know, like, well, marriage is like then like financially they're tied to me and this and that, like if we have a kid, even though having a kid is such a huge
Yeah.
commitment, I think that people kind of, it seems like they kind of don't view it like, you know, on the same, like marriage is like way bigger of a commitment to like to give somebody. But I think that everybody's journey is like to their own, you know. So I would never like, I don't judge that, like, you know, whatever works for you, you know. Yeah.
Okay, so just a quick roll call. I'll start with you. Do you believe in marriage,
Yes.
Julie?
Yes, but I'm also like, I don't like I never really thought about like my wedding day. You know what I mean? Like I don't dream about a wedding day. I don't
Okay.
like if, I don't know. Weddings, like an actual marriage on paper is not really something like super important to me,
Okay.
you know?
Gotcha.
But like I do believe in it. I would get married, but it's also like
Okay.
it is
It's not
what it is, you know?
compulsory.
Yeah.
Okay. You, Puffy?
Honestly, I really didn't for a long time, just because like the whole like how marriage started, like it was literally for financial purposes. Like that was the reason that
Still
people got
is.
married. Yeah. So, you know, I was kind of like, I don't really understand. Like I can commit to somebody and my heart can commit to somebody, my mind and soul, without me having a wedding certificate or whatever. Like that really doesn't mean anything to me. But I think that some people just view it as like the ultimate commitment, you know, and it can be like a beautiful thing. So I'm kind of like in between with it, to be honest. Yeah.
Okay. I'm gonna skip that question personally, but those are very very interesting.
Why? Why do you get scared?
Because I'm the interviewer, I decide if I want to answer.
I know. It's not one.
Okay. Well, I believe in marriage. I believe that generally, like marriages are based on the people involved in the marriage. Marriages are complicated. Marriages are misunderstood in today's society because I don't believe people understand marriage in general. I think they understand the fantasy or the expectations of marriage, but not the reality, not the purpose, not the institution for which it was designed. Everybody wants to get married because, or most people want to get married because it's something they ought to do. It's like a life goal, it's like a relationship ladder. So I don't blame people that don't want to get married because I feel like there are still people that live the rest of their life together as life partners and they never get married officially in the eyes of the law. And that's marriage too. And I feel like those people that do want to get married that understand the purpose for which they come together under God or under law, it's also okay. So it's kind of like a personal,
Yeah.
what you
Yeah.
decide to do. So
Personal journey.
yeah. So going back, I think she answered it, but Julie, do you think, or did you answer it too? You were like,
I
do you
believe
think
me.
like women should, it's okay for women to give birth before marriage, or like,
Oh yeah, of
they got to
course, of
marry
course.
before
No,
they
I
give
think that
birth?
it's a personal journey. Like
Mhm.
exactly what she said. It's circumstantial. Like, yeah.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah, I definitely think it is a personal choice. And personally, for me, I would not have a kid before marriage. But I don't, shame anyone who does or who has. Um, that's just yeah, it's a personal choice. And yeah, some people don't even believe in it. So, yeah.
Perfect. Most people love it, other people dread it, but it is what it is at the end of the day. So there you go. I'm gonna round it up here. Um, we should go definitely like cry later. This has been a very
I
very
know.
emotional podcast, but I feel
Deep.
like
It was like
we
therapy session.
yeah, I feel like we definitely covered it really really. I feel like we covered a lot of like important discussions and like well-rounded discussions. Thank you guys so much for coming on the pod. I hope you guys enjoyed the conversations that we had. It was a pleasure to have you guys. Once again, just say your names around the table.
Aliyah.
Aliyah,
Kiana.
And Julie.
Aliyah, Kiana, and Julie. And once again, it's your host, Prophet, and we will see you in the next episode. Peace.